Hello and welcome everybody. Today, I'd like to share a story from my relationship with my wife to get your suggestions. I'm a 38-year-old male, and my wife Grace is 37-year-old female. We were high school's friends and stayed in touch with each other after graduation, and then ultimately we decided to marry each other because we shared similar interests in everything and we were deeply in love. I came from an upper-class family as my parents bought Apple stocks in '90s and continued to invest in various stocks. My wife Grace and I got married in 2018. We tied the knot in a small ceremony, and I paid for the most of the wedding expenditures because Grace came from a low-income family. Grace left her job at a digital agency after we married and began working with me as a designer. I own a design studio and create designs for numerous websites, social media pages, and so on. We were a wonderful team for my business because we had worked together in high school. And I was able to pay much more than she made at her prior job. My parents cherished Grace as if she were their own daughter since she was such a kind and compassionate person, and she would invite my brother and parents every other week for lunch or dinner. Because she was aware of how devoted I had been to my family, I only have one younger brother, Stefan, and I adored him. Grace thought of my family as her own because her own family lived in another place. I was a bit overweight in the beginning of our marriage and had a habit of eating burgers and pizzas even in breakfast. One day, while working on my designs, I ordered 6 large pizzas. And Grace came in to grab a few slices for herself, but she was surprised to see that I had already devoured 6 large pizzas in a few hours. From that day on, Grace had begun monitoring my diet and forcing me to work out. And within 6 months I had lost 10 kilograms and was getting in shape because we both used to go to the gym together and she took care of my health. Grace was so committed to our family and to me that she quickly became our favorite person to all of us. Grace gave birth to our son Luca in 2020, and our lives were forever changed. Luca was the first kid in our family, the first grandchild of my parents, so we were overjoyed and grateful to Grace for this blessing. Now that my family was complete and I was content, my parents began pressuring my brother Stefan to get married. Lily, who was his girlfriend, used to attend all of our family events, but for some reason Stefan was delaying getting married. I gave Stefan some advice as an older brother, and we set up his engagement for 2021 after the lockdown. We enjoyed Stefan's engagement party. Even though it was a small event and we didn't invite many guests because the plan was to host an enormous wedding event, since we are just 2 brothers, this was the last wedding event in our family. Thus, following his engagement, we began planning the wedding. We had 6 months to do wedding preparation. Grace, my wife, was assisting Stefan's fiancée Lily with her wedding planning. Grace had been our family's only daughter-in-law up until this point, so when my parents and other cousins began to give importance to Lily, it was undoubtedly difficult for Grace to adjust. Grace was behaving strangely during the wedding preparations. Grace forced Lily to accompany her to bridal gown shopping, despite the fact that Lily intended to go alone with Stefan and her mother. But Grace booked the appointment with the wedding designer and made Lily go with her. Grace requested me to drive her and Lily to the designer studio on Friday evening. Grace was instructing Lily about dress ideas, and when Lily showed interest in one dress, Grace abruptly rejected it. I took Lily's side and told her she could buy whatever she wanted. Once Lily picked the dress, Grace advised her to lose a little weight and forced her to get the outfit in a size medium even though Lily was a large. But Grace informed her that losing some weight would be a great aim for her. Although Lily was a sweet young lady who couldn't have fought with Grace, I could tell how devastated she was. I didn't step in at the time, but later on I advised her to visit the designer's studio to adjust the dress size. Then, a few days later, we had a family lunch, and Lily was there as well. My father was questioning Lily and Stefan about the wedding venue, and Grace informed him that she and Stefan had already reserved the venue for the wedding. Lily was startled to learn that Grace had booked the venue without even consulting any of us. Stefan attempted to explain the situation by saying that it was vital to reserve the venue sooner or else some other couple would get it booked. Grace advised Lily to be appreciative for her assistance rather than appear astonished. My mother tried to fix this issue and Lily ignored Grace's entitled behavior. Then, when Lily chose Stefan's suit for the wedding day, she asked him to wear white to match her outfit. However, Grace made a big issue out of it and suggested that since Stefan only had one nephew, he should wear baby blue to match his nephew's dress. So Grace decided that everyone in the groom's family would wear baby blue, which Lily readily accepted because she adores Lucas. Our married life was greatly disrupted because Grace had dedicated herself to wedding preparations, going shopping on a daily basis, and she had been obsessed with weddings preparation. Since Stefan wasn't paying much attention to the wedding, Lily had to take suggestions from my mom, but Grace would always get in the way and somehow turn the event into something about herself. One evening, Grace and I were having dinner when she told me she was thinking of wearing her wedding gown to Stefan's wedding because she only wore it once and didn't get a chance to wear it again. And I exploded into a fury and urged her to quit stealing the bride's limelight, which caused her to cry out and say, "Bride is a bride, and she can't steal her thunder no matter what." In addition to how I had been dismissing her since Lily joined the family, even though Lily was like my sister and obviously I didn't want Grace to be in competition with her, on my insistence, she purchased a blue gown instead of a white gown, which relieved me because I didn't want her to look like a bride at someone else's wedding event. It was barely a month before the wedding when Lily showed us the invitations cards, and Grace frankly stated how terrible Lily's choice was. She stated that we needed to print separate wedding invitations for the groom's side of the family and that as a designer, she was more experienced about designs. We designed wedding cards on short notice and Grace put our family's images on the background of the cards. Stefan and my parents were pleased to see the entire family picture on the cards, and Stefan stated that the wedding was undoubtedly all about family instead of thinking about Lily's sentiments. Grace was becoming overly emotional
as the wedding day drew near. My mother tried to comfort her by assuring her that no one could replace her, and that she didn't need to feel insecure. But Grace's anxiety level was rising. Instead of enjoying the wedding of my only brother, I was disturbed and wanted the festivities to end, because Grace was not paying any attention to me or our son Luca. She had hired a choreographer to practice wedding dance. She would spend hours rehearsing dance. She had prepared 4 wedding dances, one with me, one with Stefan, one with my parents, and one family dance. It was as if she were preparing for her own wedding. She was so anxious and didn't want Lily to receive more attention than her that she even hired her own personal photographer just for herself. Since the main wedding photographer was only for the bride and groom and their families, 2 days before the wedding Grace was so stressed and overly emotional that I had to take her to the hospital because her blood pressure was so low. A doctor advised her to calm down, but she continued to cry. Even Stefan and Lily had to come to the hospital to check on her even though they were so busy with the wedding. While Grace was in the hospital with her mother, I returned home to take care of our son Luca. I changed his diaper, fed him, and put him to sleep before retiring to my bed for a nap of mine. I received a call from Grace's mother as I was laying in bed telling me that the doctor was looking for Grace's test results from 2 years ago, and that the reports were likely be in your bedroom. While searching for the reports in our bedroom, I stumbled upon Grace's journal hidden beneath the mattress and decided to look over it to see her next 2 days' schedule and to see if I could do any of her work while she was in the hospital. However, it turned out to be her personal diary where she wrote down her feelings and life details. I was astonished to read every note that she had written in her diary, and after reading them, I felt as though I couldn't breathe. However, I restrained myself and kept the diary to myself. 2 days later, on the day of my brother's wedding, Grace wore a blue gown. She had hired a makeup artist and looked gorgeous. When Stefan and Lily entered the hall, Lily looked innocent and pretty, and Stefan looked charming. After seeing them, Grace started to cry. She was acting too emotional, and I couldn't bear her anymore. Before the wedding ceremony started, I grabbed a microphone and stepped up on stage. I started reading from Grace's diary, which I had discovered under our mattress 2 days before. I began reading about how deeply in love Grace was with Stefan, and how she had stated in the diary that she couldn't live without him, how their affair had been shattered by Lily, and how she was enjoying life with me and Stefan both before Lily entered the picture. I had exposed her biggest secret. I was sobbing as I read from the diary that Luca was Stefan's child, but they had kept it a secret because Stefan didn't want to break up his family. When I revealed this, everyone was shocked, and when I glanced at my parents, they were crying. Lily walked out of the hallway room. She was no longer able to hear that. Stefan was standing there astonished and sobbing. He was apologizing to me in a whisper. The guests were so stunned that they began to return, and Grace had turned pale. Grace approached me on the stage and attempted to deny everything. But Stefan stopped her and stated he couldn't carry this guilt any longer and that the truth needed to be revealed. Stefan admitted to their affair and referred to it a mistake. I slapped them both and left them there. My parents called me out because they were aware of the damage this had done to my mental state. Update: I had filed a divorce case. It turned out Stefan, who was young and captivated by Grace, used to visit our house when I was away for work, but after Luca was born, he felt bad and decided to make Lily his girlfriend. He knew that if the truth ever got out, it would ruin our family, which is why he was marrying Lily, but viewing Stefan's wedding was tough for Grace, which is why she was acting strangely. We thought she was acting strange since Lily was replacing her, and she would no longer be the family's only daughter-in-law. However, the harsh truth ultimately came out. I have left Grace and moved away from my family. Lily thanked me for revealing her the real story and saving her life despite the fact that I love Luca. I couldn't raise him, therefore I left him with Grace, and I don't even try to meet him. Stefan continues to reach out to me and has sent me countless emails pleading for my forgiveness. Stefan and I haven't spoken in person for more than a year. My parents do not meet him either. Grace has been residing with her parents in their small house because Stefan has also left her and he is not ready to raise Luca. This incident has really ruined our family. I met my parents last year and they expressed their sincere regret for what happened to me, but now that my parents are ill, they are pleading with me to forgive Stefan, saying that because he was so young at the time of the incident, I should forgive him, but I don't have the heart to see him again, considering that Luca is still their grandchild. My parents want me to raise him. They argue that because Luca is a little boy, he shouldn't have to suffer as a result of adult wrongdoing. Please let me know what you think I should do. Is it unjust of me to not raise Luca as my own? Should I forgive Stefan and move ahead, as my parents say? Please provide your suggestions in the comment section. Please like this story and subscribe to this channel. I appreciate you being here. Thank you.